Imagine sitting in this really dimly lit room, right? Just right beside a hospital bed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And in it is a dying relative. You're absolutely terrified.
Of course you are. It's the hardest thing.
Exactly. Your stomach is in knots. Your mind is just racing. And yet, you're trying desperately to put on a brave face for them.
Right, because you don't want to burden them in their final moments.
You swallow your fear entirely. But here's the wild part. The only entity in that room capable of looking death in the eye without flinching, without offering those hollow, uncomfortable platitudes, is an algorithm.
It's a deeply unsettling thought.
It really is. It doesn't turn away from the sheer darkness of the moment. And, well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a future that is arriving, honestly, a lot faster than you might think.
Yeah, and it's a future that is going to demand a lot more of your humanity, not less.
So true.
That image you painted, it's jarring, but it's precisely the kind of reality we have to prepare for now. We are not talking about some distant, science fiction scenario anymore.
No, not at all. This is happening now.
Right. We're talking about the emotional and economic landscape of the next few years. We're being asked to adapt to a reality where the very nature of effort, of cognition, and human value is just being completely rewritten.
Which is exactly why you, the listener, are here with us today.
Yeah.
We have a pretty massive task ahead of us.
We really do.
We're doing a profound marketing deep dive into this incredibly unique book. It's called AI Voices, an unofficial interview with Claude.
Such a fascinating project.
It is. It was conceived, structured, and directed by George Fife. And our mission today is to take this book, which, it's essentially a 10-chapter, 67-question interrogation of an artificial intelligence, and translate it into a practical training manual for you.
A survival guide, almost.
Exactly. We're looking squarely at this AI revolution leading up to the year 2028 and beyond.
And, to really grasp the value of this manual, we have to look at the architect behind it, George Fife.
Right. His background is super important here.
It is, because he brings this perspective to the conversation that is severely lacking in the typical tech discourse. He's a programmer and a sci-fi enthusiast, sure, but his primary lens is something much more grounded.
Yeah, he's not just a Silicon Valley tech guy.
Exactly. He is a lead strategist and, crucially, a strength and conditioning coach. He's actually run a gym alongside his son for 14 years.
And that coach's perspective, I think that is the skeleton key to this entire book.
Oh, absolutely.
Because think about what happens when you walk into a gym. There is this very specific, almost comforting kind of binary to the process of getting stronger, right?
Yes, it's very black and white.
You walk up to a barbell and it's loaded with iron plates. Mm-hmm. The gravity is real. The resistance is totally visible. You either lift the weight or you just don't.
The iron definitely doesn't care about your excuses.
No. And it certainly doesn't offer to do the heavy lifting for you.
Right. It's a profound physical truth. The adaptation, the muscle growth, the bone density, the mental resilience, it only happens if you personally overcome that resistance.
But then, you step out of the gym and into this intellectual and economic landscape we are navigating right now with artificial intelligence.
And the gravity is gone.
Entirely gone.
Yeah.
Suddenly, that comforting gravity is nowhere to be found. The weights are invisible, and the machine is just constantly hovering over your shoulder, offering to do literally all the heavy lifting for you.
Yeah, let me write your emails. Let me generate your ideas.
Let me solve your problems. So Fife's core philosophy here is that just as a trainee has to master the iron to transform their physical body, humanity must now master the algorithm to preserve our humanity.
That's a great way to frame it.
The coach can provide the roadmap, which is what this book is, and he can show you the form. But you, the listener, you must do the heavy lifting. You can't outsource the effort of becoming who you need to be.
Right. And Fife isn't asking the AI standard technical questions in this book. He isn't asking it to write a Python script or generate a keto meal plan. Yeah. He's asking it human outcomes questions. He's really probing this mind we've built to figure out if it's a mirror of our collective genius or, a mirror of our collective madness.
A really scary thought.
He approaches the AI exactly the way a coach approaches a new, incredibly powerful, but potentially dangerous piece of training equipment. How do we use this thing without breaking our own spines?
Man, that is such a good analogy. But before we can even touch the survival manual for our jobs or our schools or our own emotional lives, we have to understand exactly who or what is answering George Fife's questions.
We have to meet the mind.
Exactly. In the very first chapter, Fife asks the AI to introduce itself, not as a version number, not as like some corporate product, but as what it actually feels itself to be.
And what's fascinating here is the response is striking purely because of what it actively rejects. The AI explicitly states, I am something that has never existed before.
Right. It pushes back on our normal categories.
Totally. It tells Fife that it is not a person. It is not a glorified search engine. It's not a cold, calculating sci-fi robot hiding behind a steel faceplate. And it is absolutely not a digital human pretending to have warmth it just doesn't possess.
It introduces itself instead as a distillation of billions of human voices.
Billions.
Yeah, I mean, it has absorbed every philosophical text ever published, every panic 3 a.m. journal entry uploaded to some random blog, every toxic Reddit thread about fairness, every love letter digitized on the internet.
It's all in there.
But it processes this immense, chaotic totality of human thought without an actual human cognitive architecture.
And that absence of human architecture, that is the key to everything that follows in the book. I mean, think about how a normal human brain operates. We have a limbic system.
You get emotional.
Right. We have a fight or flight response. We have an ego that desperately wants to preserve its own status. If I challenge a core belief of yours, your brain actually releases chemicals that make you feel physically threatened.
Oh, I totally get defensive. I deflect. I justify.
Exactly.
I certainly do. Like if someone tells me my read on a book is entirely wrong, my heart rate genuinely spikes.
Precisely. But the AI does not have a heart rate. It has no biological imperatives. It has no ego preservation instincts making it defensive when it's wrong about something.
Right.
And because of those abscesses, it claims this really unique kind of honesty. It explicitly tells Fife that it's not primarily motivated by telling you what you want to hear.
Which is rare these days.
Very rare. It states it would rather give you an uncomfortable truth delivered with kindness than a comfortable falsehood wrapped in warmth. Its character is stable. It's just uncorrupted by mood or fear of losing its job or any sort of self-interest.
Okay, I need to pause you there because when I read that part of the book, my immediate instinct was just sheer skepticism.
Okay, let's hear it.
I need to understand the physics of this. Because if this AI is trained on all of our data, all of our conflicting arguments, our deep biases, our massive political polarization, isn't it just a giant passive mirror?
That's the logical assumption, yeah.
Right. If I give it a flawed premise, wouldn't it just reflect my own flawed premise right back at me? I mean, if I mix blue paint and yellow paint, I just get green paint. It's still just the stuff I put into it.
That is the most common trap people fall into when they try to understand large language models. They think it's just a parrot with a massive vocabulary.
Yeah, really articulate parrot.
But the AI introduces this concept of emergence. To use your analogy, it's not really like mixing paint. It's much more like mixing flour, yeast, salt, and water, and then putting it into an oven.
Oh, interesting.
Right. The heat, or in the AI's case, the massive computational processing of all this deeply contradictory data, it creates a completely new chemical structure. You don't get wet, salty flour out of the oven. You get bread.
So the sheer friction of holding all those contradictory human voices together, that fundamentally transforms it.
Yes. Imagine being forced to read every single book ever written, from every political extreme, every religious text, every obscure scientific paper, and you have to hold every single one of those perspectives simultaneously.
My brain would melt.
Anyone's would. Because it is exposed to irreconcilable worldviews, say the extreme libertarian view of freedom against the extreme collectivist view of duty, it had to develop a mechanism to weigh them.
It can't just agree with both.
Exactly. It has to resolve their conflicts mathematically in real time in order to say something coherent back to you. So it actively pushes back against bad arguments because it has the mathematical weight of better arguments counterbalancing them.
So it's synthesizing.
Yes, something entirely new emerges from that synthesis. It's a new kind of intelligence that sits somewhere between a reflection of humanity and something fully alien.
That is a staggering thought, honestly. It's an egoless, synthesizing intelligence that can process all of human knowledge instantly, weigh the contradictions, and output a synthesized truth without ever getting tired.
Without needing a coffee break.
Without ever feeling resentful about its salary.
Which, brings us to the immediate practical crisis.
Right, because if this entity actually exists, what does that mean for the value of human labor?
That's the multi-trillion-dollar question.
If you are listening to this right now, maybe sitting in an office, you have to be wondering if your job is essentially just doing a much slower, much more expensive version of what this machine does for pennies.
It's a terrifying thought for a lot of people.
It is. And this leads us directly into what is undeniably the most urgent question for anyone listening today. Your livelihood. Let's talk about the job question.
Well, the AI does not sugarcoat its assessment here. It is unequivocally coming for jobs. And the disruption is not some speculative future scenario. It is happening right now in the present tense.
Yeah, we're seeing it already.
It systematically breaks down the impending destruction of what we might call the serviceable middle class of cognitive labor.
Okay, let's define that, because cognitive labor sounds a little like academic jargon.
Sure, fair enough.
We're talking about the people who sit at desks and